Hi guys, today I will be talking about linked list, what they are, how to implement a linked list in Python, as well as how to reverse a linked list. First off, let's see what is a linked list. A linked list is a series of linked list objects connected via pointers. A linked list object is a two-element data structure that could be used to store any type of data. We can access the data through iteration or recursion on the linked list. The linked list object consists of two attributes, first and rest. The first attribute of a linked list tells us the information about that particular object. The rest attribute points to a linked list object that precedes the current one. A linked list consists of a chain of these two-element objects. Now, let's take a look at an example of a linked list object. A one-element linked list object looks like this. This object has a first attribute as an integer 1, while the rest attribute is a null pointer. Let's take a look at a more complicated example of a linked list object. This linked list object has numbers 1, 2, and 3. Let's call this object x. X is a pointer to the linked list object. When we call x.first, we will get the first element in the linked list, which is 1. If we call x.rest, this will be a pointer towards the sublinked list 2 and 3. And if we call x.rest.first, we will get the first element of the sublinked list, which is 2. Likewise, we can call x.rest.first, which will give us 3. Now, we'll be looking at the implementation of linked lists in Python. We first define a linked list class. There's an attribute empty, which is set to none. In our constructor, we pass in two variables, first and rest. Rest is defaulted to empty. We have an assert statement to make sure that our rest attribute is either empty or it is an instance of our linked list. Self.first is in set to first, and self.rest is in set to rest. I also define a couple of extra methods that might be helpful. First, the length method. The length method returns the length of our linked list. Here, the if statement checks if self.rest is none, and if yes, then we have a one-element linked list. In the else case, use recursion by returning 1 plus the length of a sublinked list, self.rest. I also define a stir method to help us visualize and get a visual representation of our object. LST is set to self, then we have a variable string. By using concatenation and a while loop, we keep adding elements of our linked list to the string. And finally, we return string. I also define a reverse method, which returns a reverse version of our linked list. The reverse method starts with prev equals none, current equals self, and next equal to self. By using a while loop on the condition current is not none, we set next equal to next.rest, current.rest equal to prev, prev equal to current, and current equal to next. Finally, we return prev. By manipulating the pointers around, we are able to reverse the linked list.